Thank you so much for tuning into the podcast once again. Today's going to be a good one. I'm really looking forward to this. I'm joined here today with a very special guest, very inspiring person with a powerful story. He's overcome some of life's greatest challenges, and I'm really looking forward to just jumping straight into this. So, Mark, welcome.
Pleasure to be here, Jye. Appreciate it.
I want to jump straight in, and I want to talk about your early life. So growing up, you grew up in Kurri Kurri. What was that like growing up out there, and did you always have a passion to want to go play football and live out that life?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, Kurri Kurri's a real blue-collar town. You know, we're about 45 minutes from Newcastle. But it's a real community, tribal little place, especially back when I was growing up. And sport was it was a real passion for a lot of people, particularly the rugby league. There's a proud history out there of good local blokes that have gone on to play, in the NRL and for Australia and all that stuff. So very proud history. And at the time, Kurri Kurri won, when I was about 15, they won 3 premierships, and that was a huge thing for our town in a row. So that was certainly inspiring. But from a very young age, it was clear that I dreamt of playing rugby league. So yeah, it was a dream of mine, but it wasn't transferring to the weekend. I wasn't the star player or anything like that. So I did, I went through a lot of struggles and a lot of tough times before everyone probably saw me wearing the red and blue jersey.
During that time, I'm very intrigued with this all the time. I know I have it with myself. What was your internal dialogue like? Did you always feel as if, no, you're going to make it, you'll get there to that big platform through the struggles? Like were you telling yourself, trying to convince yourself you've got it, you're going to push through, or like?
Yeah, it was interesting. I know from about the age of 6 or 7, my bedroom was lined full of rugby league players. So at night, it was the last thing I would stare at, and then I'd wake up and I'd stare at them again. And I didn't realise at the time the importance, but I was planting in my mind that I was going to be a rugby league player. So I think it was more of a dream to play in the NRL, whereas the goal was probably to play for Kurri Kurri Bulldogs first grade. So I think it's important for people to have dreams, but you need to set goals to get to that dream. If you just think you're going to dream something massive and it's going to happen, it's not. You need to have set out goals to get towards that dream. So, but like I said, and I think we need to go through struggles in our lives for greatness. And I did. I was too small. I was not big enough, not quick enough, not strong enough. And nights under 15s come around, and a couple of my teammates got in, and I was nowhere near it. 17, same thing. 18, same thing. So it probably would have been easy to maybe take a different choice and lose my way, but I just still had that inner belief and determination that I wanted to try and do something with rugby league.
Is that what kept pushing you through them challenges?
Yeah, I could have went in different directions, but I didn't. It was because of my love of rugby league, my love of sport, and just sticking to my journey and hoping that my luck would change. And as it turned out, it sort of did, yeah.
Nice. 1997, playing for the grand final. How does that then feel after all that time pushing forward to get to that point?
Yeah, well, as an 18-year-old, I was playing park football. And then by the time I was 20, I was doing a lap around the Sydney Footy Stadium as a premiership winner for Manly. Against Manly. That's just in the space of 12 to 18 months, things changed really quickly. Look, I had a little bit of luck. There was Super League around at the time, so Hunter Mariners came in. So quite a few players were in another team, which probably opened up a few spots. But yeah, I rode a bit of luck and got surrounded by some champion people, and my life changed. I was all of a sudden, I'm living this dream that I had, and not only that, I'm holding up a premiership trophy. I'm at Newcastle City Hall in front of 100,000 people at the parade, and I'm just scratching my head going, wow, I can't believe that I'm part of this.
Did it feel surreal?
Yeah, it was just like a dream. Yeah, I just didn't want it to stop. To win that premiership in the fashion that we did, you couldn't have wrote that script. Then to jump on the bus and to come home, and the traffic on the way home and the stops we had and coming into Newcastle and people lining the streets, and it was pandemonium really. We got back to the Newcastle Workers Club, the front, I'll never forget the scenes there and getting carried through up to stairs, and yeah, it's just the stuff dreams are made of. You know, I was 20-year-old. I'd played about 10 first grade games. A lot of these players were my heroes as well because I'd grown up watching them. And all of a sudden I was in there amongst it. It was a wonderful time.
What's that feeling like? Me personally, like I dream about all these moments, and there's so many that I haven't achieved yet. And I'm so curious to know, like, then to be looking up to these people and then to be their peers and you're playing alongside them.
Yeah, it was surreal. It was like, this is crazy. I'm in amongst these people, and I'm in a position that so many people want to be in. So I had this little plan that I had to make the most of this, and I had to make it last as long as I could, because I wasn't sure still how long my first grade career was going to go for. I snuck in, and my timing was good, and a few injuries, and it went in my favour. But, I knew 98 season I had to start again and establish myself, as a first grader. So there was still a lot of work to be done. But I also knew that no matter what happens in my life, no one can take away the fact that I've played in this game that people are going to talk about in Newcastle for, many, many years to come.
What were the pressures like being a professional athlete?
Yeah, it's, in Newcastle, you live and breathe the rugby league. They used to say that the Herald on a Monday would sell so many more papers if we'd win. It was just as a young kid living your dream. You go down the shops and people are wishing you well. And at the time we were lucky. We had that great era from probably about 96, but particularly 97 to probably 2002 or 2003. Every year we genuinely could have won the comp. Mm-hmm. If things went right, we were always a good chance. But the town was buzzing. They would get right behind us. I grew from it. I grew from the support and the backslaps and people, and I loved getting in the community, and down the track I was going to need the community for other things, and I feel like I was doing my time and putting a lot into the community. I was first one hand up, go to the school, go to the shopping centres, go visit the hospitals. Like, I was a big part of that. And, I lived with Danny Badeiras for 4 years. We used to both do so much out in the community, as did all the players. It's a privilege to represent this town and this region. And as a player, you've got to you get so much off the crowd and the support, but it's important that you also get out there and get into that community and meet people and be a part of it.
And Newcastle's just got such a great community for that. Like, we're proper fans.
Yeah, we love our footy. No matter what, we're behind the team. Mm-hmm. And I've seen it with my charity. The amazing support. I think people are good. We're good people, and we're a community. We're a bigger community these days, but we get behind our people, and I think that's what makes this Newcastle so special.
Yeah. So playing football, and then you were diagnosed with brain cancer. I just want to know what that must have felt like, getting that news.
Yeah. So I'd been retired 6 years, I'd say. Footy was well behind me, but yeah, just things going along really well, and from nowhere, like just. Headaches for a couple of days, and I don't get headaches normally, so we go to the doctors, a scan, there's a tumour, John Hunter Hospital, and this is my head spinning, everything around me spinning. We get surgery.
You were 37 at the time?
I was 36, I think,
36.
2013.
Yeah.
And I got the surgery, and a week later, we weren't sure exactly what we were dealing with, but a week later the doctor sat us down and confirmed, sorry, you've got high-grade brain cancer. So, turned the world upside down. Life had changed. My amazing wife, Kirralee, she really bunkered in with me, as did all my family and all my friends and people around the community, and I had a new fight, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Is it hard talking about it?
It's sometimes at times, but I chose to I chose to do something about this with the foundation. So I've got to front this head on, with people, and I've got to talk about it, and I can't get too carried away. I just got to keep a nice level head about everything and get the word out there about brain cancer so that we get the money in, we get the research done, and one day there can be some real hope for people out there that do get brain cancer.
Going through all that, do you think the foundation helped you overcome it yourself? Like just putting that focus into such a positive movement?
Yeah, I think it was really important that, I just slightly adjusted the focus. I was going through an extraordinary tough time, but to then say, right, well, we can sit down and hope someone does something about this, or do we try and fix the problem? And my wife Kirralee drove this, and we decided to start the Mark Hughes Foundation. And it's almost like you're forgetting a little bit about your actual personal problems, and you're trying to fix the problem for everyone. And it's been it has been a really amazing journey.
Yeah. So during the time, like having surgery and that, were you in the midst of it when you started the foundation, or did the foundation come to life afterwards?
I was chatting about it when we were waiting for surgery, and after it, I wanted to do something. I wanted to put my energies into a charity, and we weren't sure what it was, and sort of saying to Kirralee, well, it looks like we might have found a charity. So yeah, I think it was important to do that. It was during the dark times. It's good to still set goals and aim forward, and I'm glad I did that. So then, the Mark Hughes Foundation sprung out of the ground, and the momentum and things that came off that, really you couldn't have probably dreamt some of the stuff that's happened.
We've setting goals through like that hard time. How did you find the motivation to want to do that?
Well, I think first the main one is a little bit of self-indulgence, was that I needed answers to this problem. I still do today. There's no cure for brain cancer. It kills more people 40 and under than any other disease. It's a tough one. I'm getting an extraordinary good run, and I'll keep running with that. But I just knew that I needed the answers, and so many others did. And brain cancer wasn't really spoken about, and there wasn't much in the community about it. So let's raise some awareness, let's raise funds. I was lucky. I come from the rugby league background. I had a good head start. A lot of people were aware of me and my journey, and it really helped accelerate the progress of the Mark Hughes Foundation. Yeah.
And I don't know how up to date this information is, but the last I read was you've raised over $30 million for brain cancer research.
Yeah, so we've gone a little bit over that, but around that. And so we're very proud of that.
Congratulations. That's awesome.
Yeah, so probably our proudest achievement would be the Mark Hughes Foundation Brain Cancer Centre out of the University of Newcastle. So it's here local. Professor Mike Fay runs a big team. We're really growing, and a lot of great stuff's happening there. We have our brain cancer care nurses who are angels to families and to patients throughout Newcastle and regional New South Wales. We've got them all around the region, so we're very proud of those. And I'm just really proud of our MHF team. There's 3 or 4 amazing people that work in at Hamilton there, and our team's amazing. And our volunteers, they come in, they pack beanies all the time and do different things, and most of those people have stories of their own. They lost a loved one, they had, so it really is. I'm surrounded by inspiring people, which helps keep me going.
What does a day-to-day look like?
In winter, a lot busier for myself with doing different things with the beanies, and there's always little bits and pieces, appearances and different things I do for the foundation. But the foundation runs year round. Our team are full, they're in there all year round. There's amazing people doing dinners, luncheons, balls, bike rides. There's so many different ways of raising money for the Mark Hughes Foundation. It's not just beanies. So that's a really good thing. And then for me personally, I do other little bits and pieces along the way. I've got a gym, Air Locker Training Katara, which is an altitude gym, and I go there each morning and train, and it helps keep me fit and energised.
Yeah.
Another thing that I'm focusing on this year is corporate speak, and I want to get my message out there to people and make an impact and tell them, about a young kid that had dreams, and I fulfilled those dreams, and I got sick and I got knocked down and I got up, and how I did all that. So I feel that's a good story. And I've got to say, Jeff McCloy, the McCloy Group, I'm an ambassador for them, and he just wants to help me because he knows I'm a foundation. He knows that I'm a volunteer for the foundation. He's just a good businessman that wants to help, and I just do little bits for them as well.
Yeah, nice. Awesome. So with your speaking, you're looking at going around, sharing your story. Yeah. Is there a big takeaway or big push that you really want people to get out of that?
Yeah, absolutely. I talk a lot about, firstly, following your dreams. You're never too young or old to have a good crack at them, and I explain how I went about it. I talk about the importance of being resilient. I talk about positive mindset because I feel like they're two key traits that have helped me get to where I have and take the hits and sort of keep moving forward. So they're probably the basis of what I'm talking about. And, I've found that the audiences, I spoke in Townsville a few weeks ago, and they really, really liked the message that I delivered. So I feel if I can deliver a strong message with a bit of a laugh along the way, I think it's having an impact.
With your positive mindset, do you try to focus on gratitude, affirmations? What's your focus?
So positive mindset, I like to. Well, firstly, it's like, okay, you're in this situation. What can I learn from this? What positive can I make out of this? And accepting the change, that might be a bit of change, but hey, I'm gonna find a way out of this. And I think that's a good way to have the positive mindset. And I talk about different strategies and things like the team. That's who's around you. Who are your 5 closest friends, family? Because you become a bit of an average of those people. So who are you spending the most time with, and what are they doing for you? I talk about controllables. In your mind, we spend a lot of time focusing on things out of our control. What people think of us, how people act, how they behave. But what about if we focus on the things we can control? Mm-hmm. And we have so many thoughts. I think 60,000 or something a day. If they're all negative, you're more likely to become that negative person. So we want to try and get that positive mindset, and I think that's important. And also giving back. Just the importance of giving back and helping the community and helping other people. It's been wonderful for my mindset, And of course, I also talk about movement and fun. You got to have fun and you got to move. And I think all this stuff helps our mental health. It helps our resilience, our mindset. And, we only get one crack at this life, so we want to make it the best one we possibly can.
With being around people like that environment, are you checking in quite often with yourself and the people around you? And like, if you were to come across maybe someone's a bit down, do you try to distance yourself? Do you try to motivate them? Do you try to pick them back up? Like, what's your process with that?
I want to help where I can. Mm-hmm. I'm not a trained counsellor, but there's lots of situations where I'll do short videos of support for patients and people in our community. So yeah, I want to help where I can, but the foundation, unfortunately, we get a lot of dire, terrible situations that, which breaks my heart that we can't save people yet, but we're giving a bit of hope. People are clinging to a bit of hope that the Mark Hughes Foundation, they're out there and they're working hard and they're researching and they're doing what they can to help fight this disease.
I guess you'd probably have to still keep going through these, setting them goals and keeping that motivation up through them dark moments. Like, you're hearing these stories firsthand. How do you keep pushing through with that?
Well, yeah, that's the thing. Like, I still get scans every 4 or 5 months. Like this, it's like I won the war, but the battle continues with brain cancer, and unfortunately, there's no cure. So, once you've got it, it's one of them things you're gonna be stuck with, hopefully for a long time.
So is it gone and it can come back? Or is it
it's managed. It's managed. Brain cancer patients are different to a lot of other cancers. You'll never get a handshake and say it's done.
Really?
Yeah, and you just hope it's a long time. But that's the devastation of brain cancer. So I'll never get a handshake. It's I'll see you in 4 months. So that's the world you live in, and that's where I say make today count. Well, I have to, I've got to make my life count, make every day, every hour count now, because you just don't know what's around the corner. And that's everyone, I guess. There's always that. But for me in particular, or people with brain cancer, they'll understand exactly what I'm saying.
How do you stay positive with that?
Well, I'm surrounded by, loving family and friends, and I've got the choice. I've got to make choice how I live, and I've got to be, I've got to be just positive and strong. And, I'm out there talking about resilience and positive mindset. I've got to practice what I preach, and I've got to be strong and positive. And I'm grateful. I'm 10 years down the track. I meet so many people that I've heard of, that have gone in months when they get diagnosed. A year, 2 years, 4 years, 2 years. It's devastating. And for some reason, I'm getting a really great run at this. So it keeps me going. And just like the young kid that was dreaming of being a footballer, I'm dreaming now of a cure for brain cancer. Mm-hmm. And I'm thinking positive and strong about that, something special is going to come out of this.
Yeah. How important is it for you to keep your own daily practices and habits? Like you say you got to airlock, like your training, and I don't know if you meditate or you do them things. How important is that for you?
I think routine's very important for people. I think they need to think about consistency with their sleep, their nutrition. I think that's and also a bit of exercise. I think there are 3 simple pillars that can really help just keep you level. So if I know I trained this morning, did that, I felt good. I had a healthy breakfast, so I've got my day off to a good start. So I think that's important for people to get that consistency. And, it's a simple way to start is movement. And can't all have time to go to the gym, but can you go for a walk, or can you do a bit of movement to start?
It just flows on from there too. Yeah. It's just stacking them wins. Like just get that training session in, eat the good food, get your good sleep, and then you're just setting your day up for success and just keep building on that.
Absolutely, you are.
Yeah.
So our mental health's so important, and if I put these things in place, it gives me the best chance to be strong and make today count. Do some good stuff today.
Mm-hmm.
So if one person listening here gets some little piece out of what I'm saying, I'm happy. I've helped someone today.
Yeah. And with all them, with stacking them, do you try to put that into bigger goals? I know we want to cure brain cancer, but do you just try to just keep breaking it down into the small achievable goals that just keep building on until we get to the big one?
Yeah, that's right. So hope's a big thing. We just want to give real hope. Now, how do we do that? Can we fix, can some of our medicines and treatments, our radiation, which we're looking at closely, blood testing, what can we do to help the patient? So there's definitely little pieces in between. It'd be wonderful if we had some, you get brain cancer and they say, instead of them saying, 2 in 10 may survive 5 years, maybe we can bring that out to 10 years or to 15 years really quickly.
Yeah.
But the goal is to find a cure and an answer. That's what we've got to do, and it's in my head that's how we're going to do it. And with my positive, strong mindset, I'm thinking about my 50th birthday. I've been thinking about it for 5 years, knowing that I've got to get there. So that's something that I'm willing myself to do. And the longer I'm around for, the more chances are of our team getting the answers to this thing.
How's the research been? Have there been any
Oh, there's been great stuff. Our team are doing some really good things. There's some blood testing stuff, and there's some clinical trials that will be taking place. It's a tough nut to crack, Brain cancer is one of the toughest, but I get so excited being in the room, listening to the team meetings and hearing these researchers, these brilliant people, what they've got to say and what they're doing. And I'd love for the general public probably to hear that, because the way they say it, and it gives me excitement, keeps me going. So for any MHF supporters or people listening that might have brain cancer, hang in there, because there's some great stuff happening.
I should come in with some cameras and film some of them conversations, and you put it out through your channels. That'd be a great way for people to be like a fly on the wall and get in there and hear that. Yeah,
that's right, because they don't get to hear that. A lot of people buy a beanie and support us, which is wonderful, but I want them to hear where that beanie money's going, you know.
When you're in there, like, what's it like hearing some of the terms and words that they're using, and that is it overwhelming? Is it positive? Is it like, what the hell are they talking about?
Yeah, at times it's a bit overwhelming,
Yeah.
but I think they try and put it in layman's terms so that we can understand it.
Yep.
But I just feel comfortable, confident that we're in good hands with these guys, and you know, they're working with passion. They're working really hard to try and solve this problem.
Yeah, wow.
Yeah.
And are they all based locally, or are they from?
No, we've got bases here in Newcastle, but we've also got Queens. We've got them from around Australia that all tap into what we're doing. We're big on collaboration. I said from the start, I need teamwork here. I'm a team player.
Yeah.
And we're not. It's a big problem. We're not going to solve it on our own. So let's collaborate. Let's share ideas. You know, we've brought 100 researchers from all around the world to the one room to talk brain cancer, and it's been so positive because they said we've never done this before. You know, this collaborating and sharing, and I think it's a really good thing.
Do they have like events then where they grab these findings and go back and present the paper to a room of people?
Yeah,
and
there's big conferences and stuff, so they're all talking and connected, and I think we're getting better at that. So, yeah, it's exciting that, you know, there's so many people trying their very best to find a cure for this thing.
I know you, like before you said you've got your own research centre now. How much are you still working alongside or collaborating with just like the health system in Australia?
Look, we want more government support. You know, it's brain cancer. We need help. So I won't lie. We need the big guys to really come in and help pour money into this thing. Yeah. So, you know, we're a part of all that. We're a part of, you know, the mainstream, but we're doing a lot of this ourselves. Our brain cancer care nurses, we're doing all that ourselves. You know, it's just is what it is. Brain cancer was one of them things I think brushed under the carpet until probably the last 10 years when we've tried to make it a bit more well known. I think it is working.
What do you think that was?
I think it was a couple of things. Probably it was in the too hard basket for some people. Also, I think it was hard to get ambassadors like advocates because unfortunately their journeys were too short. So they're not around to bang on and go on about brain cancer because unfortunately we lose them. So
there's something you don't think about.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think about. Yeah, wow.
So stuff like that. But, you know, we're working hard. The NRL, National Rugby League, with the Beanie for Brain Cancer round, that's been wonderful, you know. And just, you know, like sport's been great to me. And it's not just that, it's the friendships that I've made out of sport and what, you know, my former teammates do for me. You know, we do a trek every year right around the world.
I was going to ask about that, yeah.
Stuff like that. So I've won premierships and that with the Knights and did some amazing things, but I think it's the friendships that's come out of that that's been the most important. Yeah.
Where was the last trek?
We just went to Vietnam, Cambodia. We rode mountain bikes for about 550 kilometres.
Oh, unreal.
Yeah, it was just amazing. You know, Paul the Chief Harrigan led the way and Denny Badiris was there and normally Billy Peden comes and, you know, the Gidley boys and they all come when they can, different times. But we had 25 amazing people. Now, these guys, you know, from Sydney, all you know, accountants, all walks of life, they raise money. We raised over 400,000 and we go and do the thing. So you get that growth of being in a team, challenging yourself, and you raise money for the charity. So, yeah, it's a beautiful thing to be a part of.
What's it like when, like, well, you're riding this one, when you're riding along and you look around and your mates are with you and you're all on this mission together?
Oh, it is a really great, special feeling. We've done some crazy stuff. You know, Mount Kilimanjaro, highest free mountain in the world. We climbed that. Base Camp Mount Everest, we've done that a couple of times. Kokoda, Darwin, Borneo, done all this stuff. And I've seen grown men, like I've seen them fall off bikes and get sick and vomit. It's full on. And I know they're doing it for our cause. So it's a stressful time at times for me. Yeah. But gee, it's a beautiful time. We go and we do that. Then at night we're sitting around a campfire and we're telling stories and talking and having fun. And it really is a great. It reminds you of how good teamwork is, team sport.
How good.
Important, yeah.
Is there one of them that's like stands out for you?
they're all so special in their own way, and meeting the Sherpas and the local people and just their gratitude and their happiness, and they haven't got much, but they don't need much, you know. Like we sometimes are out gathering and, you know, all this stuff, but I find that these people have very little, but they're so happy and grateful.
Yeah,
you know, and to walk up base camp Mount Everest together, and you know the views and the stuff you see, it really is stuff that, you know, we haven't got rugby league anymore, but I tell you, this has been a really great focus and replacement, because it's not, I think the view is important at the top of the mountain, but you only spend 10 minutes up there.
Yeah,
it's the journey to get there, and I think that's the same in life. If we embrace the journey and love the journey, we will get to the top. You'll get to where you want to go, but you've got to embrace that journey first, not just stare at the top, because you won't get there. So I think that's something good that I learnt too.
Just checking in along the way. I've done base camp as well. Yeah. I took Dad for his 50th.
Yeah.
And just along the way, like the mountains have an energy. You can feel it. You can feel the Himalayas, and just walking up there, and there were so many times where I just stopped and was like, we're doing this.
Special,
it's incredible. And I think like just not just getting caught up in let's get there, or tomorrow we'll be at this place, or by the end of the day, like just stopping and actually just going, look what we are doing, and like appreciating that journey.
And how did you go? Did you get altitude sickness?
Dad did.
Did he?
Yeah. We got there.
Yeah.
But
headaches and
they check your oxygen every night.
What was he?
That was dropping. I think he got down to maybe 60.
Yeah, it's low.
That's
low. Yeah, no, it's no place for the faint. Not for everyone, but if anyone gets the chance, take it. It's an amazing experience, and so somewhere like Everest is a special place. I've been twice, and I'd go back again tomorrow.
Yeah,
you know, if I had
and
to.
did you do base camp Everest both times, or did you do?
I went a
ones?
bit further the second time to another, but basically base camp. Yeah.
Yeah, because like we're meeting people, and so many different treks you can do around there and stuff, but.
Yeah, you're walking the track, and there's from Spain, Czechoslovakia, it's the world stage, and there's people of all ages and shapes and sizes doing it, and you see some people getting carried down, which, you know, is a bit sad, but it's just, it's a great challenge.
Yeah. What's next?
We don't know. Just had a meeting with the chief the other day, and we've got to try and come up with where to next. We've done a lot of the big ticket ones. We like it to keep it within 2 weeks so that people can have their annual leave and be back to their families.
Yeah.
So we don't want to go too far away.
Yeah.
But it needs to be challenging, needs to be a bit different. Like Kokoda, we did Kokoda, but we did a 100k, 120k bike ride with that as well. So we like to add our own spin to a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not sure. But usually we go in October, so that's what we got to get cracking to get our next one done.
When you're planning it, does everyone just come in together, or is there a couple of key heads?
I just like to get Paul Harrigan and Wayne Weatherall from Kokoda Spirits is the provider. Billy Peden has a say. I've had blokes like Brad Godden, who's another nice legend, and Danny Badeiras. We all just have our say and come up with the next spot, and then we lock it in, and then we put it out there. We get usually it's similar people because they love doing it so much, you know. Yeah. So yeah, life's pretty good. Just got to stay healthy. Have a big year with the foundation.
Yeah.
I'm excited at the new challenge of speaking and making an impact to different people, hopefully right around Australia.
Yeah.
Just living my best life, making today count, I guess.
Do you have many speaking gigs lined up?
I've got a couple at the moment, but I'm really working on that now and getting it right and getting my slides right and just making sure my message is clear. And like I said, I touch on a few different things and have a bit of a fun with my footy part. And so it's not a Q&A. So I just get up and talk. I have a clicker and I click and show different pictures that matches the talk. So,
and focusing on corporates, younger athletes, or
I want to get my message to anyone, and whether it's high school students, corporates, sporting teams, it's something I'm excited to pursue.
And with the foundation, you said that you're a volunteer for the foundation. So are you pushing it, running the whole foundation in that sense?
It's really my wife Kirralee is the leader of the full leader, and then Sharon, Casey, Chris, Emma, they're our team, local girls. They're amazing. They're friends. They've been there I think Chris there from the start, pretty much 10 years, 8 years. They're all long term. They work around the clock, answering calls, emails. It's really inspiring. So I go into the office and I help, but I don't get bogged down in everything. You know, I got to keep my head clear and keep myself fit and healthy, so I don't get bogged down in everything. Mm-hmm. I'd like to go to every event, but I can't go to every event.
Yeah.
So sometimes we have to say I'm too busy. You know, I just can't do everything. So it's managing myself so I keep my fight going, and whilst helping and raising money and keeping this foundation going, because unfortunately we just need money. We need more money so that we can get more research, more trials. Our costs are under 5%. No charities matching that. It's staggering how we don't spend money and we don't waste money. And I think our supporters need to know that, because it's important. And so when they're buying a beanie, they know that it's going in the right places.
With the research side of things, who's structuring how that unfolds?
Professor Mike Fay is our chair, our head, and he's got so much experience, and we couldn't be any more happy with him. There's scientific meetings and, you know, that steer. We've got the best people from around New South Wales that'll go on Zoom meetings, and it's just some really smart, clever people collaborating, getting together and steering the ship.
Yeah, wow. And do they know, like, in 6 months we'll be doing this part of the research, or is it just constantly unfolding and they're just chasing that new information?
Yeah, I'm not sure whether their next year or 2 years is exactly planned.
Yeah.
We do what we call innovation grants, where we call for people around Australia and say, hey, what have you got innovation-wise? Because maybe this answer is going to come from left field because it's such a big thing. Maybe something a bit silly or different could be the answer. So give us your proposal and we will back you in your innovation, and we might give these guys these innovation grants and say, just go and have a crack at that and see where it gets you. And yes, things like that pop up all the time.
Yeah, wow. And have you stumbled across any like groundbreaking research or?
There's been some really great. They're really excited, and we've got 6, I think, different strands or areas of research, and each strand are very keen and happy with where they're at. But as far as like, no, have we solved brain cancer? No, but we're happy with where we are.
That's great.
Yeah.
I'm just so intrigued by, like, I wonder how that happens, because you think about how long the human race has been around for, and you're trying to discover something now for the first time.
Yeah, it's tough work, and you got to be patient and passionate. And these researchers are that. They're very passionate about what they do, and you know, we've got the University of Newcastle Mark Hughes Foundation Brain Cancer Centre. HMRI is a world class research centre where there's so much research going on in there. Newcastle should be very proud of how much research we've got happening in our area.
It's incredible.
For all sorts of illness.
Yeah. We Because Professor Katie Lampkin, she was in the Promise. So I've spent a bit of time incredible.
Great, wonderful. So Newcastle are doing very well with research.
It's good to know, and I think a lot of people don't realise, like, it's all here happening.
Yeah. It's right at the back of John Hunter Hospital.
Yeah. That's great. So with the beanies, people are buying beanies. Is there a percent that goes straight to research, or because you were saying like only 5%?
Well, this is our big major fundraiser every year is beanies. Mm-hmm. We'll source our beanies, we buy our beanies, and then we sell them. We go through IGAs, Lowe's, we go online or at the footy games for the beanie round.
Yeah.
And that money comes in, and then our team can then say, "Great, we've just got $2.5 million extra. This is how it's going to be used and what we're going to do with it." But there's no cap put on it about how and what it's spent. But research is our main focus. We can't help individual people's situation. We just need to solve the problem. You know, we've got a biobank up there which is full of tumours. You know, so it's like a big library. You know, that's getting bigger and bigger all the time. So our research teams have got a big library of tumours to research. There's
like ones they've taken out of people.
Oh yeah,
really.
Yeah, we've had quite a lot of full brain donations where
Wow.
families have got the courage when they know that their time's up. They've got the courage to say, we're going to donate the whole brain to try and help this cause. So that's the type of emotions and inspiration that we're dealing with all the time.
Wow. How does that feel to be at that point where people are donating their brain?
Well, this is, it's mind-blowing the support that we get when people are, when they're down and when they've lost their loved ones, they become our best supporters. They volunteer, they raise money. We've had families do some crazy stuff, I bet the $50,000, $100,000 on a night, just by communities and families getting together. And I won't name them because I'll leave names out, but they know who they are and they're amazing.
Are there any stories that have stuck with you through all this?
At different times, just the stories where we lose them so fast. I think what did I hear recently? They lost their battle within diagnosis within months, 2 or 3 months they were gone. So they were living a normal life and then gone. And that was from a headache, same thing as me, scan, tumour, then, so it's quite devistating out there. And you think people think they've got problems by, maybe getting caught in a bit of traffic or, you got to remember there's people out there doing it very tough. Yeah.
With stories like that, when they get the scan, how far along is it? Have they been living with it for years and they're just catching it at the end, or does it start and finish in that short time?
Sometimes it can be very fast growing but sometimes it's been living in the brain for a while and then you finally detect it. There's so much mystery to it, and that's what makes it so hard. You don't see it coming; it sort of sneaks up on you, and you'll have a seizure, you'll have a headache, and then all of a sudden you get a scan, and then your life's changed. People's lives are changed overnight. Yeah.
Are you religious?
Yeah, I'm Catholic. Went into Catholic, and so I would say a little bit religious, but so I'd say yes.
Through that time, were you praying, putting it out there to the universe, God? Yeah,
no, I've just put it out there a few times when I felt I've needed help. But definitely, there's definitely strong religious, and hopefully someone is sort of watching over me a little bit.
I mean, like with the stuff you're doing now, it's God's work. You're doing great stuff.
Yeah, we are doing great stuff, and it's whilst my name's to it, it's so many people that should be proud. If you've bought a beanie, you should be proud. If you've supported us, proud. Because I feel like this is definitely a foundation started here in Newcastle, built on rugby league. My involvement with the Knights has really helped with where we're at. So job not done, but feeling proud and looking forward to another big year.
Are there big things in store for this year that the foundation's trying to really focus on?
Nothing. I don't think too much. We just have our pretty simple formula of our beanie round, which is massive mid-year, and then we just we usually have we've got a ladies' trek to New Zealand in April, which we're looking forward to.
Wow.
The girls going there, and then hopefully we have a men's one in October.
Yeah.
And then sometimes we have some other micro challenges as well along the way. So they become a big part of our year as well.
So with the women's track, is that people in the foundation doing the walk or like ambassadors?
That's just, once again, people reaching out. Lots of them have stories of loved ones that they want to walk in their honour. Mm-hmm. My wife Kirralee, she'll be doing that as well. It's a really great thing, and it's a very meaningful trek. They've got a lot of people on there that's very close to brain cancer.
Nice. With all like these things, are you putting all of this into your keynote, or are you trying to keep it somewhat separate?
Yeah, no, it's my story. It's not about the Mark Hughes Foundation. It's about how I've maintained, my resilience, my mindset, and how I've been able to keep moving forward. And I've used my life story to talk about dreams and my footy and living my best life to when getting knocked over and getting back up again. And moving forward, and life's about getting up and keep going, and hopefully I can get that message out to people. And I touch on a bit of the foundation and all that as well, because it's a big part of my story.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's just a small part of my speech. Yeah.
Yeah, wow. What are some of the biggest lessons you've got from your story?
Well, I think following your dream and sticking to your plan and fighting for it. I think that was in the early days, and I found a way. I think in life sometimes you just got to find a way to get there, and I think I did that well at the Knights in my rugby league career. I did better than I probably deep down probably expected, and probably a lot of people expected. So quite proud of that. And then it's just, things happen and you got to get off the canvas and you got to keep living your best life. You only get one life, so make it the best you can. I've, a bit of resilience and good mindset. I've faced adversity and I've got through it. And I continue to live my best life. So I just want to pass a few of those things on to people so that if they're having a few hard times or they're having trouble, maybe they can get a little bit out of what I say and take that into their life.
If someone was going through it right now, going through a tough time, would you is there something you'd say to them, like try to read or try to consume certain material or surround yourself with people? Is there some type of advice you'd give them?
Yeah, I think we all experienced difficult and hard times that we've got to get through it. So I think definitely not trying to solve the problem yourself. Surround yourself with the people you trust and talk to them. And just try and maintain some consistency. Don't lay in bed all day. Try and have that movement. Try and keep your food as healthy and as consistent as you can. Go for a walk. Do some good things. Try and have a laugh. It's there's no magic formula. It's when you go through tough times, you've got to bunker down, roll up the sleeves, and crawl your way out of those situations. And when you get out of that. When you get out of the holes, you can feel so much better. Greatness can come out of it. Yeah.
Are you just doing it because you know it's right too? Because there'd be so many times where you don't want to do that, but you know what's on the other end. Like you're gonna feel better for doing it. Are you just forcing yourself through them patches?
Yeah. Yep. For anything to be great, you need struggle. If I was playing rugby league or any sport, and I was winning 80-0 every week. And there was no challenge, no hard time during the game, it wouldn't quite feel as good. You need tough time. You need that struggle. And once you get through that, pop your head out the other side of it, you'll get greatness and you'll get happiness. But sometimes it feels a long way away and it's tough. But if you can just hang in there and keep going, get through it, there's better times on the other side.
I think that's what's so good about sports is there's always that, you win or you lose, and there is that adversity all the time, and it teaches you to just realise it's not a bad thing, it's just part of the game.
Yeah, you've got to learn. I think from losses, you've just got to learn from them. That's in life, or try and learn. Saying why me doesn't help too much, really. You've just got to say, what can I learn from this and how can I move forward? And that was the good thing about sport. Sunday afternoon, we'd get beaten, and then we'd come up to training on Monday and quickly do a review of it, learn from it, and then we're aiming for next weekend. And I think that's helped me in my journey is that, okay, I had this problem, I'll fix it, and then I'll move forward. And I think that's a good way to look at it.
Do you still have that review period? Like when you go through something, do you sit down, analyse it, go through that and go, right, now we're moving forward?
I'm a deep thinker, and I think too much sometimes.
Yeah.
So yes, I do go over things, and I think how I reacted or what I did, and could I do it better, or how could I learn from it, or what did I do well? So I think self-reflection is very important.
How important is it to have a mentor or someone that you can bounce these ideas off, or because I'm the same. My mind just does not stop, and I find I've got certain people in my life that I can go to and really express this to them honestly and feel like I'm not being judged. And in a way, by me talking and having them conversations, I'm figuring it out for myself. Do you go through that process too, or think that's a good idea?
Well, look, if you've got good people around you, it's definitely good to tap into that. But not all of us have got great people around them at different times. So you've just got to tap into yourself, and you've got to self-reflect, and you've got to think, and you've got to find a way out of these situations. Ideally, you'll have someone to bounce ideas off or talk to, but if you haven't, it can be you can go through things and get on the other side.
I love how you're so positive and just driven, and it's just like, we can do this.
Yeah, that's it. I'm positive, strong mindset. I need that. I really do, and I've got to keep that for my own health interests and battles, and for the people around me. So I just want to have a positive, strong life and keep powering forward, make a difference, help people, and we'll see what happens.
Did you always have that mindset, or did that develop through?
I think through darkness and adversity, I feel that I grew a lot. And like I said, when you go through struggles, and not much bigger struggle than what I went through, when you get through the other side, you can grow and learn, and I certainly did that. But I was a pretty positive person my whole life, and I lived well, and I would see the positives in things, and I would keep moving forward that way. So I think I've changed, a little bit. I have definitely, but I had a fair bit of it in me as well.
I love this idea of getting people on that idea, on that thought of going, like, it is a choice, and I can choose to look at this scenario for the positive. The glass is half full.
Yeah, that's right. And it's easy to sit back and say, why me? Why has this happened? But what about sitting back and just thinking about how can I get out of this situation? And I heard a story the other day, Kobe Bryant, his first season, and he was a young fella, and he absolutely killed it all year. And apparently in the last game, in the major semi or whatever it was, he had a few chances to win in the game, and he kept missing, and he lost in the game. And he was sitting in the stand or somewhere after it, head between his knees, and one of the officials come up and patted him and rubbed him on the shoulder and said, don't worry, don't let it worry you, mate. These things happen. He said, no, I'm not worrying about that. I'm just working out what I did wrong and how I can fix it. And wow, what a mindset. He would have been 19, and he just was, okay, forget that's over. How do I fix this problem? And that was his mindset. That's a champion mindset there.
Do you think that comes from the drive to win?
For someone like him, he wanted to be the best. I mean, that's different to most of us. But yeah, so I think we want to win life. The biggest sport,
Yeah.
That's what it is. We win, we lose, and that. But for me, the real game is life, So we all want to win at life. We all want to, have our best life. So we've got to look after ourselves and our families. So when crap hits the fan and stuff happens, we've got to connect, and we've got to come up with a solution on how to get out of it. Simple, yeah. Yeah,
and everyone's success is different. Everyone's version of success is different. Everyone's got different goals, I guess. But I wonder how much of that is having a clear vision of that goal. Like, if you want to solve brain cancer, you can keep just motoring on that target. Do you set clear goals throughout that the whole time?
Yeah. So as far as success goes, people have different ways of looking at success. But the way I look at success, it's not how much you have or what you have or cars or whatever. It's about what you do with what you have to make an impact or a difference. So I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about giving your time, your skills, your lending an ear, whatever it is, might be money, to help. And I think success is the way you help people in the community. And I think if you think and live like that, we'll have a much better world. For me, I keep driving with this foundation, which helps me stay on track, helps me stay goal-driven and positive that we're doing good things, and we're eventually going to create a bit of history.
Yeah. What does success look like for you?
Well, success is to continue this MHF and Mark Hughes Foundation and driving that and getting better research, more research, so we can get better outcomes for patients. That's all. We just want to give hope to everyone out there when they get the diagnosis of brain cancer, that there is some hope there for them.
And if people are listening, how can they help?
Lots of ways. We just love you. Follow the Mark Hughes Foundation on Instagram or Facebook. Get on the Mark Hughes Foundation website. Beanies are a big thing, so look out for them in winter. But there's always opportunities to support the foundation. So, yeah, follow us. We really do need the support.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for taking the time to come on here.
Jye, thank you for having me, mate. It's been a pleasure having a chat, mate, and I wish you all the best.
Cheers. Thanks, mate.